Good morning, welcome to Morning Review. This is Kim speaking on Monday, the 28th of November. So, looking at the euro dollar first, and well, at the moment, the daily euro has finally broken the 8 moving average, which, well, could signify a little bit more of a turn from where we're sitting. Um, sort of from within a few days, maybe we could get up to the daily 21 now if we manage to hold on to these gains. The fly in the ointment, of course, is the weekly pivots below us, sitting there at 105, 105.88, somewhere in that region, which, if we do see any selling off, would be a reasonable target for it, particularly earlier on in the week. However, at the moment, it's pushing on. Um, Divergence may see us set up for something. We'll watch this morning. It got quite extreme this morning at 2 o'clock, but it has given us a reasonably high RSI there. So if we push up again, start diverging maybe into the midi there, onto the weeklies or dailies, we could see some sort of reversal. But for now, I'm looking at it, and it's relatively bullish from what we've seen with the higher lows, higher highs. Would love to see the obviously pivots out as daily pivots down there as well. But if it continues in this mode, well, um, maybe the R3 even is looking above us. The daily R3, we really have pushed on. It's one of those days that I don't particularly like, because I like to be seeing the market move when we're trading it, not when it's through the Asian session. However, the pound, well, that hasn't disappointed too much, although it has looked like it's tried to, well, certainly has tried to break out of this sort of wedge I've been talking about for a while now, with the 50 MA being the top line of that wedge and the trend line being the bottom line. Has tried to push out there, struggling at the moment. It looks like it's pulling back within the range, which could just see us chop around a little bit. Again, we've got the weekly pivot below us. Now, this may look slightly weaker at the moment than what the signal that we're seeing on the euro there, but we have got a daily and weekly pivot again below us, which both have a reasonable probability of being hit. Now, maybe looking at this, we could be looking for a break of these lows. It's already sort of chopping around these lows at the moment, but there's plenty of space in this. If it even if it was to break the 21s, there's still some movement down to the daily, and for a bit of confirmation at the moment, we may be finding some support off this hourly 8 sort of area and this trend line, so it may yet hold up again. We'll see, but certainly it looks marginally more bearish than the euro, and it has sort of more simpler targets, not necessarily smaller. Okay, dollar yen had a good move through the Asian session. Nice daily pivot. Now it has looked to be bouncing off the daily 8 at the moment, but might be a nice reversal. I was looking for a bit of a reversal last week on it towards the end of the week, beginning in the end, and it's certainly done it here. It's continued in this mode. It's already through its daily pivot, weekly pivot rather. Hasn't caught the daily pivot, so any retracements, any shove up beyond the 21s could see us run back for that daily. But at the moment, it's a decent distance away, and it does look like it's possibly more on for the S3 daily S3 than it is, and the 200 combination than it is the upside. But we'll see as we run through this morning. Aussie dollar, again, solid moves through the Asian session. As I say, I don't like these moves when it all happens through the Asian session. I'm selfish. I want it to happen through our London session, European session, and this is already moved. You can see the average true range on the Aussie dollar from what we're looking at on these previous bars here, and it's pretty much done the move. Well, could run up into its daily 21 from here again. Like the euro, it's broken the 8. Here it's a lot closer to daily 21, and it would come nicely with the monthly S1 pivot that it's below at the moment. So some possibilities there. Again, fly in the ointment, weekly pivots below. So any change of direction here, any dollar strength, and then if we start seeing something like that occur, we could see it roll back towards the area. Already hit the daily pivot though, so may take a couple of days to get back to that weekly pivot. Often the case. Upside potential though, from short term, there's certainly a triple level of resistance sitting there with the monthly pivot, weekly pivot, and a daily R2 at the moment. So could find a bit of resistance around that 750 area, 7503 area even. Okay, Aussie dollar, CAD dollar. Bigger picture, oil was off this morning, and I see it's the Canadian dollar actually. It's just come to oil first. Oil slips back off. I think it's Wednesday that we've got the meeting. OPEC meetings start on Wednesday this week, as far as I can see. Yep, the biannual meeting starts then. There's been a lot of pre-meetings trying to suss something out for the OPEC meeting, so well, we'll see. But for now, whilst the deal may be agreed on the day, well, we've seen a bit of weakening in the oil price, but the Canadian dollar seems to be strengthening marginally here, not significantly, but it's probably the same as the rest of the currencies there at the moment. Now, already caught the weekly pivot here, and most likely the daily pivot. Yep, through its daily pivot. So it's got a free rein to carry on rolling over if it does. So a break of this sort of these lows here, well, could be a continuation to the downside there. There may be some more optimism on reduced outputs being agreed with the price of oil and slight better price on oil to come through. Be watching for divergences at the lows, but you could break that. Okay, that's pretty much it for me. News-wise today, there's not a lot of significant news, although at 9 o'clock we got Draghi speaking, which will always potentially move the euro around, and that's possibly why the euro's currently sitting. It's starting to consolidate. If you look at the shorter time frame here, right down to 5 minutes, we're consolidating at the moment pretty much. So probably the reason why he's speaking at 9 o'clock. They'll be looking for comments to see if they're going to continue relaxing the money and keep the financial easing going, which completely diverges from what the US are doing as they're starting to effectively tighten a little bit, at least in terms of interest rates, at least. So we'll see how that goes. Right, that's it for me. Have a great day. Bye for now.